Yeah, good morning to those of us that
But, uh,
are around with us. Good morning. Um, I don't know if it's from my end. I was having issues logging in to the meeting. They were telling me that the meeting has not
now
started.
finish it.
Yeah,
Urgent shoe.
but it's good that the meeting has started now. We have
Hello.
about 24 persons. Jigba, thank you. You can mute your microphone. Jigba, please, you can mute your microphone so that
Oh, okay.
somebody should tell
Hey,
Jigba to mute his microphone so that we can start.
type always kwanzu ulamfa.
Jigba Augustine, please mute your microphone so that we can start. Thank
Oh,
you.
sorry, absent-minded.
Okay, okay, thank God you are not absent-minded again. All right. So, good morning to us all. Today's class is likely to be short and likely to be direct. I don't know if Prof will join us later in the day or by tomorrow, but the moment I am done, I will get in touch with him so that he will know that he can engage with this class. Once more, good morning to us all. I will just see if I can go straight to what we have to do today. We have discussed we have discussed a lot on SIA, and I am sure that any of us would have one or two things to say about SIA. And we also told ourselves what SIA is, why it's necessary to carry out SIA. We looked at the aspects of SIA. We yesterday looked at the steps that are involved in the conduct of SIA. And finally, yesterday, we looked at the challenges, the advantages that comes with the conduct of SIA. Today, we will pick up from there and look at the challenges that are associated with the conduct of SIA. Because good as it is, it also has its own challenges here and there. So we will look at those challenges and see if we can do a comparison between SIA and EIA, if we're able to. So, like I said, I want to make the class short and direct. What are the challenges in the conduct of SIA? Number one, we said that SIA is time consuming. If I have a project, it is easier for me to just go, hit the ground running, and start what I need to do. No consultation, no discussion with anybody, nothing like gathering of data, nothing like scoping. You just go straight to what you want to do, achieve what you want to achieve, and you are done. But you will agree with me that with SIA, it is not so. It is not so straightforward that you just go, pick up, and you just start your project. It has to do with meeting people, collecting data here. For projects, that can slow you down. You are holding your stakeholder engagement, you are finding out what people need and things like that. If you cut out all of these processes, which may take time, you would have saved yourself that time. All right. So if you have a project, for example, that is time bound, and you tell yourself in the first 1 or 2 months, this is what I want to achieve. Then in the other month, I want to achieve this. Then in the other month, I will do this and that. I am sure that if you step into the SIA process, it would derail you and you may not be able to achieve those things based on your timeline. So that is number one challenge. Number two challenge has to do with the cost of conducting an SIA. Even if we do not spell out those costs one after the other, it should be obvious that you do not do any of these things without financial costs attached to them. If you need to consult with people, certainly there will be costs involved in those consultations. There will be costs involved in gathering of data. There will be costs involved even in the putting of your reports, your SIA reports together, publishing it, giving copies of it to stakeholders and things like that. All of these things are costs. And if, for example, you have a small project, you are not handling a big project, and a little project, you now begin to cough out cost of this, cost of that, cost of this, cost of that, because you want to complete your SIA. That becomes additional cost to you. So most times people run away from conducting SIA because they want to avoid those costs. I just hope that is clear enough. Besides that, we can go to the next point, which is the difficulty in obtaining reliable and accurate data. Most times, because you are in a remote place, because you are in a place that yourself you find even difficult to access, some kind of information that you may need to complete your SIA may just not be handy. You may end up struggling to get this information, struggling to get that information. You are relying on people to tell you what they think. So the question is, how are we sure that the information being provided you is accurate and is reliable? If we are not able to ensure that at the end of the day, you may engage with people, gather information, but you will now have information that you will not be able to use at the end of the day because the information is not reliable. So it becomes a constraint, it becomes a challenge as to why people run away from conducting SIA. And if you do not have accurate information or accurate data, your assessment cannot be accurate because you will only work based on what you have. So if what you have is not accurate, you can be sure that your SIA will not be accurate and the whole process would have been tempered with. Number 4, maybe one of the reasons people find it difficult to conduct SIA is because SIA is not as simple as EIA. You know, dealing with human beings is not easy. If it is an environment you are assessing, you know that things in the environment do not quickly change as such. So you can hold on to one or two things in the environment and they are a bit static. But for human beings, social impacts are so complex, they are dynamic. It is with human beings that if you try to solve one problem one place, you are creating another problem somewhere else. If you are trying to patch one area, the person is looking in another area and you already have another problem to grapple with. So, social impacts are complex, they are interrelated. You are trying to solve one problem, you are creating another one. So it is difficult to really quantify and to predict social problems because of their nature. If we discover that those social issues are complex, it only makes it more difficult for you to assess them. So that becomes one of the challenges that we face if we want to conduct social impact assessments. It's not like a car that you will say, if this is faulty in this car, this is what you need to do. You know, human beings are not like that. Even when you think this is what you will do to please human beings, it is when you do it and you see their reactions that you will be surprised. The same thing you do today and you think it's okay. If you do that same thing tomorrow to that same human being, the reaction you get is different. So human beings are complex and social issues are that complex. It becomes more difficult to handle. You know, one issue relates to another issue and it keeps going on and on and on. Number 5, we started discussing this when we were looking at SIA and things like that. Some people hijacking the process. Yes, that could be a challenge. And if those people are powerful people, like we have been discussing about, they can scatter the whole thing. So, your SIA, if you are not careful, may be influenced by the interests of these people. Perhaps the government is interested in a project, wants you to go and do that project in so place. And you set out, you go and conduct your SIA, and your SIA is reflecting something different. Perhaps because of the negative impacts that your project will have on the people, they are not really buying it and they are not comfortable with your project. And then you come up with your SIA and you state clearly, okay, based on this and that, this project will have so negative impact on the people. And as such, you don't even think the project should hold. And then the big wig somewhere is telling you, ignore these people, just go ahead. That can lead to bias in the entire project process. All right. Even when they see the negative impacts of a project, they will just tell you, forget about it. You know, this is we know how to handle some of these things. Don't bother about their complaints. We know how to sort them. And because, yeah, you are a project consultant or you are a contractor, you too, you are interested in carrying out that project so that you can get what can come out of it. In some cases, you end up engaging in that project, even when you are aware and you know that it does not align with what the community or the people will want. That is number 5. Number 6, it is also possible that when you carry out your stakeholder engagement, all the views of people affected may not be captured. We aim at getting every person, those that are marginalized, those that are vulnerable, and things like that. That is the ideal situation. But there may also be the chance that the views of some persons may not be captured in your SIA. And if you do not capture the views of those persons, I am sure that it is those persons that the project may affect negatively. And they may even be the ones that will revolt or that will not be comfortable with your project. So skewing the findings of the SIA may just be in the direction of people who are powerful and who, let me say, has that voice and can speak up. The other ones are neglected by the corner, and most times their views are not captured. So we say it has skewed the findings of your SIA to only those that are prominent, those that have a voice, those that have one or two things to say. Number 7, where there is lack of capacity and resources to hold people that are implementing your project accountable, even when somebody comes on paper and tells you, this is your challenge, okay, these are the mitigation measures that I am taking or that I have put in place to address that challenge. I hope it doesn't end on paper. And most times, because we need to do SIA, yes, we go ahead, we do our SIA, we put our findings together, we tell ourselves these are the challenges, social impacts, these are the ways we will mitigate it, and everybody will clap for you and will go their way. The people that are in that community, if you begin to do otherwise, and you do not implement that mitigation strategies, do they have the capacity to hold you responsible? That becomes a major challenge because they may be seeing something going wrong and they know, no, this is not the plan. This is not what we have agreed upon. But the best they can do in some cases is to grumble among themselves. Do we have channels by which they can put their complaints and be sure that their complaints are heard? It is at that time that you will see so many divisions here and there because there is actually the people which in this case are coming from an inferior standpoint to the project implementers who are coming from that superior standpoint. Most times they're even afraid to approach these people. How do they even approach them? How do they hold them responsible and accountable? That becomes a major challenge. Number 8, like we told ourselves, social impacts are dynamic and they keep changing over time. Because I now know I am handling something that is dynamic, that is changing over time. Even if I have a long-term plan, those long-term plans may be very difficult to determine. Because as a human being, you are telling yourself, okay, in the next 1, 2, 5, 10, 15 years, this is what will happen. So you are making a plan for something that will happen in the next 5, 10, 15 years. What if the social dynamics change and the impact that you are thinking of begins to change gradually over time? Some things that you do not anticipate during SIA may just come up. Those unplanned occurrences, unplanned impacts may come up. So, having a long-term impact known for now will become very, very difficult because something also tells you that these things can change. These impacts can change over time. So, it is good to anticipate them, yes. It is good to plan for them, yes. But we must tell ourselves the truth that what you are looking at in the next 10 years may not be what will happen in that next 10 years because so many things may have happened along the way to make things to change. Number 9, and then number 10, finally, we are done with the challenges before we look at the similarities and then maybe the differences between SIA and EIA. Number 9, because you have different stakeholders, all of them have different concerns. You meet them, you engage with them. They tell you what their concerns are. On paper, we may think that it is easy to harness. Jigba is seriously writing on my screen. I don't think that is necessary. So Jigba, you would make me to stop sharing my screen and then to start sharing again. Please, let's not tamper with the screen so that we don't have write-ups on the screen. Thank you very much. So I am putting my screen back up again, and I'm hoping you can see my screens. So we said number 9, you have different stakeholders. Those stakeholders may have conflicting interests. So on paper, it will be easy. Okay, you pick all their views, you harness them, put them together, you come up with a common ground. But it is not as easy as we think. I wish it was a class situation we would have done some kind of work, trying to see how easy it is to bring people with conflicting interests together. It could even result to fights because this person is insisting this is what the challenge is. This is what should be done. Another person is dragging it the other way. This is what should be done. That is what should be done. If we are not careful, we end up causing more damage and scattering the group because it could lead to dissatisfaction among these groups, especially if you sit down and now come up with a judgment that seems to favor one group instead of the other. The moment that sense of dissatisfaction comes up among them, you have a problem because this project is among them, is for them, and it is these same people that will give you issues when it comes to project implementation. Finally, on the challenges that you are likely to face when conducting SIA is that the beauty of it is you have identified your negative impacts. You have identified your negative impacts. These and these and these are those things that are negative and that need to change. You now come up with a mitigation measure to hold those negative impacts back or to reduce the impact of those negative occurrences on the people. You will be mitigating those negative impacts at a cost. So the question we'll now begin to ask ourselves is, what is the cost of mitigating that negative impact? If that cost becomes massive, becomes heavy, because you want to solve this negative impact, you need to spend this, you need to spend that, you need to put this and that in place. Somebody else will sit down and begin to do the economics. How much do I need to solve this problem? And we need to tell ourselves the truth. If that cost involved in solving that problem becomes massive, becomes heavy for the project implementer, it will lead to reluctance in carrying out the SIA. Because, like some people will say, what you do not see will not see you. You know, my mom in those days used to give us that as a proverb. That what you do not see will not see you. So it's better to even close your eyes and be blind and ignore those things than to carry out an SIA and then you see them and then you arrive at a point where you are seeing a challenge, you know you need to mitigate, but you do not have the capacity to do that mitigation because of the cost involved. So by and large, these are 10 challenges that I'm able to think of that people face when they conduct SIA. Gemga, I see your hand. Let me take your question or your comment before we proceed to the tail end of the class.
Good morning, Doc. Good morning, colleagues.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Doc, I'm taking you back to number 9.
No issues.
Yes, sir. When the stakeholders have different views or interests, then now, what as an expert, what are the measures to balance it up? Because I discovered that when you fail to balance it up, it can lead to vandalizing the project or can lead to abandonment of the project, because it's a serious issue here. It's a serious issue that when A has interest, B has interest, all of them would like to the experts to address their own interests. And when we fail to address it, it will lead to something. Then what are the professional means to address these issues that both of them have? Right. Thank you, Doc.
All right. Thank you so much. Sorry, I thought I muted before I coughed. I've been struggling with cough for some days. I know my cough must have disturbed us. But it's a class discussion and it's a question for all of us. Anybody has anything to say? If you have these conflicting interests and it is difficult to take sides, let me say, what do you think should be done? Richard, I see your hand. Let me take your comment. Okay, Richard is not speaking up. Can Ima speak up?
All right. Good morning, class.
Okay, Richard is speaking now. Richard, let me. Yeah, good morning.
In this kind of situation, you allow the majority to carry it. The majority, you throw it at the floor. The majority that decided or that want it should be that way, they should carry the votes. The majority carries the votes. You throw the
Majority
yes,
carries the vote. Okay,
yes.
Uzoma, I see your hand up. You have something to say about that? Uzoma is not speaking. Precious Ifan, I see your hand up. Maybe you want to say something.
Yes, sir.
All
You
right,
know, that's why the SIA the SIA process helps to design a project. So when you have a conflicting interest like that, a particular percentage of people want this, another percentage wants this, you can actually go back to the drawing board and redesign the project and maybe scale down a bit on one to accommodate the other one so that all the parties are met. For example, if women are saying we need a borehole, and the men are saying no, we need for example, we need let's say 3 classroom blocks so that our children can go to school. You can now decide that, okay, instead of having 3 classroom blocks, let's have 2 classroom blocks and then have at least 1 borehole for the women. That way you're trying to balance the conflicting interests, and then you've also succeeded in going back to your drawing board to redesign the project implementation. That's one of the ways to go about this.
Wow, thank you so much. Uzoma, I still see your hand is up. Let me take your own comments. Yeah, I can hear you, Uzoma.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Loud and clear.
Okay, sir. One of the ways you can also settle the differences between two parties who are in conflict with the SIA is to scale your preference. Look at which party or which area will be more beneficial to the community, to the host community or the party. Look at beneficial, which project will have more impact, direct impact to the people than the other. So, because having interest now, they will tell you this party, they will tell you we want this other party will tell you we want this. You look at the needs of these parties. Which one is more important? Which one should you give priority to first before the other? So if you have the means now, you can take care of the one that is more important. Then after you can take care of the other one. That's the way I look at it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Manasseh, you want to advise?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, I also want to add that, irrespective of the fact that you have a conflicting ideas in a particular environment where you want to carry out a project, most of the times these projects, they may be given with specification and probably one in mind. So when we go back to the drawing board, we may do an assessment, but there's nothing we can do about it. It's either you do that one project or you leave it. So my solution to this is that, irrespective of the fact that all of them have their own particular interests, we should try and see how we can bring them together, because there are times people are fighting for a particular project. Do this one should be better. This one is because maybe it's a probability. They are ignorant of how important the project you have been sent to come and do is to them. So by the time maybe you enlighten them, you explain the nitty-gritty on how that project will bring a lot of development in that environment, they may decide to, okay, for the fact that you have explained, we have understood very well, I think we'll go with you. And whether we give you their maximum cooperation. That's my take, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. I still see okay, the hand has gone down. I thought I saw Jigba's hand up,
Yeah, yes,
but
sir. Yes, sir. Let me go small.
okay. So you
Okay.
can go ahead.
Okay. There's this thing in gender mainstreaming. They taught us of a hierarchy or in gender. So I think the same process here, the same hierarchy may apply when there are conflicting interests over a project. The hierarchy we play in this manner because as the stakeholders who have the highest say may take the day. That is what I just want to say.
All right. Thank you so much. Fanyam, you want to say something? This question is bringing plenty discussions, but it's fine. Fanyam, let me take your comment.
Okay. Okay. Good morning, sir.
Okay. Good morning. Please,
Can you hear
go
me?
ahead. I can hear you. Can go ahead.
Okay.
Please, I can
So,
hear you. You can go ahead.
first, I will say, okay, first, I will say there are different sets of assessments. Organizations or programmers usually identify or go randomly to a community and then get what they want to be executed in their places. That is different from when a program or a project is supposed to come and then an SIA is to be carried out. So I I think that before an SIA is carried out, the implementing organization already knows what they are coming to that place to do. For instance, the university that the state government is, or rather the university has been situated in Ihu. If they go to that place now, they are not going to ask them whether they should give them a university or they should give them a hospital. At this point, the project is already known, and then the SIA that will be carried out will be on, okay, they are now displacing indigenous people. They are now, who are those people that will be affected? Who are those people that are most vulnerable in this displacement? Now that be relocation or dislocation, as the case may be, now that the university is situated on their land. So I think that some of the issues that we are raising about project priorities will not suffice in this issue again, because we already have a project that we are going to execute. And then when you bring a project to a place and you do an SIA, or rather a baseline assessment, which is something very closely related to SIA, you pick the people's priorities as well. You know what has been there, and then what has not, what you hope to achieve with them. So when they raise certain things with you, the only thing you are going to tell them is you include it in your report. Okay, these are the issues people are raising in connection with this project. So when you go back, you come and execute your project, ensuring that some of the issues they have raised and are doable in your project are covered. Then, based on availability of funding, you can now upscale the project to cover certain areas that they were interested. Because for people in the development sector, nobody will come and build a school, and then because those people want a road, then the monies will be channeled to road construction. It will not work like that. So I think that any serious programmer or project implementer that is coming to an to a community to implement, us to know what they are coming there, and then prioritize it. Later on, scale up the project so that it will be able to cover some of the community's needs. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you so much. Any other person has anything to say? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, okay. Susanna, let me hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I want to contribute a little to the challenge is number 5, which says that SIA may be influenced by the interest of government agencies. I've seen this practically here in Makurdi, where one of the old students in one of the schools in Makurdi here, he came all the way from the northern state. He was elevated to a high position in the government in his state there, but because he was a student in one of the schools here in Makurdi, he decided that let him come and build something in that school as an old student. So when he came, it wasn't a small fight. Him and the government of that time. But because he too was also powerful, he overcome them because they wanted to divert that building to another place, which he didn't agree. He said this is where he graduated and he's an old student of this school. So if the project is not going to be executed in this place, he will not do it again. He will go back to his state. After all, Benue is not his state. So I'm just agreeing with you on this point that I've seen it practically. It has happened here. So it can happen to any other person.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. And thanks all for those contributions. They are very handy and they are very instructive. But one thing we should just have behind our mind, like I said, and that's why we are saying it is a challenge, handling different stakeholders. We should tell ourselves that it is not easy. Fayam, I still see your hand up. Is it the old hand or the new or a new one? Okay. So, Topav, I see your hand up.
Yes, sir.
You want? Okay, please let me listen to you.
Yeah, we're very grateful for the work being done.
My pleasure.
You were talking about you are talking about SIA now, and I'm hearing you talking about EIA. Maybe you have not reached that point yet. But most of these problems they are saying, I believe they involve people who specialize in such area. And the key point there is not people who dominate. The most important thing is to look into the key whereby the effect, the negative effect will be minimized to the barest minimum. So if the negative effect has been minimized to the barest minimum, it can be accepted, not based on how many people agree or having political view into such a project. Because the key thing is the negative effect that they are trying to minimize. That's my contribution for a while.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I cannot skip Ladi Eche. She has decided to speak today, so it's good to hear her. Ladi Eche, ma. Ladi Eche, ma. Okay, Ladi Eche has gone off. It means we will proceed. I am sure that she will join us later and make her own contribution. So, like Yes, okay, you are back now.
I think I'm back.
Yes, yes. So let's take your input.
Okay, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah,
I have
that's
a
right.
little noisy background.
Okay.
I see that bringing together different interests of stakeholders, it's not really easy in project management. But I think from all that others have explained, all the opinion is that the project should be very transparent, flexible in operation in such a way that it can carry everybody along to harmonize the interests of the stakeholders. And most of it all, I think it's important for them to combine issues with conflict resolution, our conflict management, grievance management concept in their operations. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. So every person has said, it is good to ensure transparency in the process. Where you may have a bigger challenge, because it's already a challenge as we are discussing. But where you will have a bigger challenge is when you are seen not to be transparent in the process. And when you are seen to be taking sides with a group and ignoring another group, that is where it becomes a major challenge. But like we said, you just have to try to be transparent, try to be fair to all the groups. And also, very, very importantly, you would make the groups to understand that you are not there to solve every challenge. That is number one. And number two, every group at the end of the day should see it as a give and take situation. It is not 100% zero. That is what you should also have in your mind. So if this group has this complaint and this group has that other complaint, at the end of the day, try to arrive at a point where you are able to meet some of the challenges of all the groups. Some of the challenges of all the groups. If you are able to do that, you arrive at a point where even if you do not have all you needed, the other group also did not get all they wanted. You have given up some, they have given up some, and everybody arrives at a balance. And I think that is the best advice I would give, so that you do not come and make yourself seem like you are taking sides with any of the groups. The moment you do that, you create a bigger problem. But professionally, you just have to be fair. You just have to put yourself in the balance and be sure that you address the concerns of all of them. Even if not all, make sure you touch their concerns. Let them know you listened to them and you are out to do something to meet their challenge. Emmanuel, your hand is up. I thought we are done with this, but let me listen to you.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry. I just wanted to get something clear in case for future purpose. In a situation whereby I'm actually on a project, I'm working on a project, and because I realize that the issue we're trying to resolve here is the issue of whereby we have two groups of persons in the community, and then these people are saying that we want this, other people are saying that we want this. So how about in a situation whereby this group of persons are saying that we want this, and this other group of persons are saying that we don't want this very project that these people want to be implemented? Not that they are saying that they want this one for them. How am I going to resolve that kind of issue? Because these ones, they have what they want. They are also in support of this other group are saying that they don't want it in their community. And the two groups are majority, having stakeholders each. How am I going to at least resolve this?
I think I think we may be getting it a bit wrong. Let me reposition our focus. You are not coming to battle a project you want to establish. You are only looking at the social impacts that that project will have on people. So it is not a discussion of, I want a school, this one wants a borehole. No, I think we should streamline it from there. The fact is, if it is a borehole you want to sink, that is your project. What we are looking at is what will be the consequences, social consequences of that borehole on the people. How will it affect the people? So I think it's not like going to change your project, going to come up with another project. You already have your project you want to establish. This is where you want to cite the project. How does it affect the people? This one may tell you this project will affect me in this way. And this other will say this will affect me in that way. It is harmonizing those different views that we're talking about now. All right. So it's not basically going about changing a project, coming with another project. You already have a project. You are just trying to be sure that the social needs of the people are met while you implement your project. I saw a hand up. The hand quickly went down. I was waiting to call on the person to make a comment.
Good morning, doctor. Actually,
yes,
it was.
I have seen the name, Doshima. I was trying to remember the name. So let me take your comment.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for the very enlightened lesson. I have learned some very remarkable things as we engage the class. And thank you for your patience also for, taking the class and our reaction, different reactions. Initially, I wanted to ask, in the case where you have different opinions and views, and your resources are not enough to be able to balance, but while you answered the other person's question, I now see that it's not in terms of the project per se, it is actually the impact and then the different views that you're trying to harmonize. So I didn't see the need for the question. That's the reason why I brought my hand down.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma. So can we leave that question and go to the last lap of our discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we can proceed now. Oh, is there 11 and 12? I thought we are done with okay. Okay, I think we have discussed 11 and 12.
No, we
Did we?
stopped at 10.
No, we are not
At
discussing
10.
10.
Oh, I thought we had just discussed 11 and 12. So let me just gloss over them quickly and then we can go. You know that you have things that are qualitative, you have things that are quantitative.
We stopped at 10.
Okay, so we are on 11 now. If you have something that you can measure and get a value for it, that thing is quantitative. But there are things that you cannot measure. Those things are qualitative. And odd for us, most social impacts are not things that you can measure. How can you even measure quality of life? What is the unit for measurement of cultural identity? You know, these variables are very difficult to quantify. So if you are now trying to evaluate something that is difficult for you to even measure and quantify, making people know how significant those things are may become a challenge at the end of the day. So, because social impact is not like a number of trees that we can go and count. is not like the weight of something that you can put on a scale and get a measurement. The difficulty in measuring social impact now becomes the difficulty of conducting an SIA, because you are handling things that you are not able to quantify directly. And then finally, point 12. It is easier to look at the direct impact of a project and then to address it. But there are, like we said initially, unintended consequences, and those may not be as easy to handle as we think or as we are putting forward, because it is not even what you are thinking of. What you are thinking of is one thing, then an indirect or an unintended consequence just comes up. The ability to handle them becomes very, very tough. The ability to handle them becomes very, very tough. So that itself becomes a challenge. So you are handling direct consequences or direct impacts, but there are unintended or indirect consequences, and those ones can come up at any time. You're only telling yourself, maybe this will come, maybe this will come. And the truth is, maybe what will even come up may not be what you have thought of. And it becomes a constraint, a major constraint that surrounds the conduct of SIA. If we are okay with that, it means we can go to the last lap, look at similarities and look at differences. Can we go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I would have loved you to take that number 12 again, sir, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you.
Number 12.
Yes, sir.
Number 12, if we tell ourselves these are the direct consequences that a project will have, it is easy to look at that impact and find a solution to it. But the truth is, as one thing is going on, it may generate what we have referred to as the unintended consequences. Those ones you do not see. And because you are not seeing them, you are not able to predict them accurately. Because you are not able to predict them accurately, when they come up and you are faced with them, solving them may be a challenge. And that's what we are just trying to point out. When something is not what you can see, and you can say, okay, this is the challenge, this is what will come up, this is what I will do. While you are trying to solve that, something else you didn't even think of may just come up suddenly. You did not, maybe it skipped you, it was not part of your plan, it was not part of your projections and things like that. You are already into it, and then because, like we said, it is unintended, it just comes up, it just happens. That becomes a major challenge, and handling them may not be easy. Like we said, you're only predicting, you're only looking into the future, you're only telling yourself that this is what could happen. You are not even so sure that is what will happen. What if something else different from what you have envisaged happens? How do you handle it? So I think that is what that point 12 is talking about. Can we go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we can go ahead. We'll now look at similarities between SIA and EIA. Number one, both SIA and EIA are conducted before the project starts. It means all you do is to make projection. And that's why we keep talking about potential impact. The impact has not even come yet. So that becomes a similarity between SIA and EIA. If you are conducting an EIA, you are looking at the impact that your project would have on the environment. If you conduct SIA, you are looking at the impact that your project will have on the social life of people. You're only looking at, you are making a projection. So both of them are similar in that regard. They're only aimed at identifying and predicting and assessing the consequences of actions before they are taken. So for all of them, they are only helping us look into the future. That is number one. Number two, both of them, in most cases, and we are arriving at that point where it is becoming mandatory for these assessments to be done as part of policies or laws of every country or every locality before a project is approved. So if we arrive at that legislation that makes it necessary or compulsory for SIA and EIA to be conducted before a project is approved, it means they have something in common. At least both of them will require some kind of regulations and policies, and both of them are required for any project to be implemented. I heard the comment of somebody, but like I said, most of our discussion in this class is on SIA because so much has been said about EIA, and that is what is most common. Most of our assessments are on EIA, and that is why this class is focused more on SIA and not environmental impact assessment. So it's not like we are neglecting one, but we are focusing on that which has been neglected, and we are trying to bring it up so that people can see the importance of it and why it should be done. Still talking similarities, number three, you cannot do SIA without involving stakeholders. Similarly, you cannot do EIA without involving stakeholders. Both of them have to do with stakeholder involvement and stakeholder engagement. That is similarity number three. Number four, both of them are looking at strategies to reduce or to mitigate the negative impact of a project on people. Yeah, one is looking at the negative impact on the social life of people. The other is looking at the impact on the environment. But both of them have this in common. They are all aiming at arriving at strategies that will reduce or will eliminate the adverse impacts that the project will have on people. That is number four. Number five, Both assessments are really interdisciplinary. You have people from different areas coming in to work together to arrive at a comprehensive EIA and a comprehensive SIA. So when something affects the economic life of people, you should have somebody in economics to look at those economic aspects and find a solution to their challenge. If something affects the health of people, you should have somebody in the field of health to find a solution, something that will mitigate that challenge. And because one problem may touch different lives, different aspects of the lives of people, it means you must come up with a strategy that would have experts in all of these fields that will address the challenges that each person would have as touching each aspect of their lives. So if it's an aspect that has to do with their antiquities, their cultures, you should have somebody that is an expert in that area to come up and say, this and this is what we need to do. If it affects their health, there should be somebody that will provide a solution and all of these different aspects. So ESA, EIA, SIA, all of them put together will have to do with a team of experts coming from these different fields and arriving at a point where each person has a contribution to make to solve the either environmental impact or the social impact of the project. And then finally, on the similarities, both of them, you still need to carry out post-assessment. Like we said in SIA, when you are done, you must carry out your assessment, document it, so that it even serves as a lesson guide, a lesson note, what you have pulled out, what you have learned from that set of engagements for that project. So while you do a post-assessment in SIA, you still do that post-assessment in EIA. We should know what you have done, the lessons learned, the way forward in case another project is to be established. So these are 6 similarities between EIA and SIA. Perhaps there are few differences between them, and I will take them quickly and then we can wrap up. Number 1, SIA is focused on the social aspect of life, while EIA is focused on the environmental aspects. That I will not need to explain too much. While SIA is looking at the social life of people, EIA is looking at the environment. And because of the focus of these two, it means the types of impacts that will be assessed will be different. And that's point number 2. While SIA is looking at impact on human beings, on their populations, on their social relationships, on their demography and culture, community, and things like that, the impact that will be measured in EIA will have to do with the environment. Is it the kind of pollution that you have, the habitats that will be destroyed, the resources that will be destroyed or depleted, and things like that. The impacts that comes out of SIA is basically on human, while the impact that you get from EIA is on the environment. Number 3, we told ourselves that SIA measures things. Bala Ibrahim, don't draw another thing again, or just leave what you have done like that, because I don't want to shut down and share again. we told ourselves that SIA, most of what we measure is qualitative. It is not things, these are not things that you can measure and have exact figures or values for. So when you conduct an SIA, most of the information you get will be qualitative because you cannot measure them. You cannot measure quality of life. You cannot measure people's culture, you know. But in EIA, most of what you do can be measured. It can be quantitative. So when we are talking about quality of air, I am sure that they have come up with some technologies that can measure the quality of air that you have. They have come up with indicators that can measure the quality of your water. So while EIA, most of our measurements and indicators are quantitative, things that you can measure, SIA deals with qualitative measurements. So that is another difference between them. Number 4, all of them have different time frame for impacts. So SIA is interested in the lives of people, their social life, and is looking at the long-term implication of your project. Is looking at indirect social consequences and things like that. EIA may not be looking at the long-term effect of what you are doing. Most of the focus of EIA is immediate and direct on our environment. So SIA helps us think far. You are looking into the future. You are trying to solve a future problem. While EIA most times is interested in the now. Now, let us see how this affects our environment now. That is the 4th difference. The 5th and the last one that we will look at will be the nature of the stakeholders that you engage when you are conducting either an SIA or an EIA. For SIA, you are engaging mainly with people that are affected by the project, the indigenous people in that community. But EIA goes beyond that because in EIA, you are not meeting with individuals. You are meeting with groups. You are meeting with experts. You are meeting with government agencies. You are trying to get their opinion. So while SIA, you go out, you meet with individuals, you meet with communities, you get their inputs. If somebody wants to conduct an EIA here now, you are not looking for people around to meet and get information from. You go to government agencies that are focused on resources, natural resources, that are focused on the control of the environment. You look for NGOs that are into environmental issues. These are the kind of people you consult with when you are conducting an EIA. While for an SIA, you are working with human beings. You are working with the affected communities. You are working with groups or workers or people that are concerned with the running of that project in that community. I think it is at this point that it will be good for me to also pause, catch 1 or 2 breaths, and then ask if we have any questions so far on what we have discussed today. And perhaps if we have any question on what we have discussed from the whole of this week to this point, you would let me know so that I can sign out from here and perhaps Prof will engage with us on our group task. Thank you. Please, any question, any comments? I hope I can be heard. Okay.
On my end, no
Yes,
question,
doctor,
just
you can
to
be heard.
comment.
I don't have a question, Doc.
You
All right,
for
thank
this
you.
elaborate lecture. It's
All
so
right.
inspiring and so comprehensive. Thank you.
All right. Oh, thank you so much, Richard. Jennifer, I see your hand up. Let me take your question or your contribution.
Good morning, Doc.
Yeah, good morning, Ma.
Good morning, colleague. I'm finally talking today, sir.
Yes, in fact, I wanted to report to you that you have not talked since we started.
Yeah. So I have a question. Number
right.
two of the differences between SIA and EIA. Yes, sir. In summary, you said SIA deals with the impact on human beings, while EIA deals with the impact on environment.
Environment,
So,
yes.
yes, sir. So I want to ask, does something that affects the environment, does it not directly or indirectly affect the human being? And something that affects the human being, does it not have direct or indirect impact also on the environment?
Thank you very much. It does. And that is why, for those that did our research and the question we asked people to check on, you'll discover that the both of them are beginning to work hand in hand. EIA and SIA are beginning to work hand in hand, and we are arriving at a point where it should be incorporated such that you don't do an EIA without an SIA. But while we get there, the truth is that the impact that you get from the environment on social life may be like the how do I put it? Like the unintended consequences we are talking about. Because this has affected the environment, it becomes an indirect impact on the social lives of people. So SIA tries to capture that. And that's why we talked about indirect impact. Because you do one thing, it affects another part of the social life of people. So I quite agree with you. There is a link between the two of them. Whatever affects your environment affects your social life. Whatever affects your social life could have an impact on the environment. But if you are conducting an SIA, you don't jump into environmental impact. Please, we should mute if we are not speaking. The class is becoming noisy. So if you are conducting an SIA, you don't go and begin to look at environmental impact. Whatever happens coming out of the environmental impact becomes an unintended consequence. I think that is how we should view it. But you can't tell me you are conducting an SIA and you are going to measure environmental impact. That is no longer an SIA. The impact that you measure in SIA will be social impacts, while the person conducting an EIA will measure environmental impact. If there is a runoff between the two of them, this becomes our unintended consequences, which we try to forecast and which we try to handle. I don't know if I've been able to address that. So I see your hand. Let me take your question.
It's not a question, sure, but well, a question on number 4. And just to give some qualifications on some certain things. That number 4 that stated that EIA is mainly considering the present instead forgetting the future, or the talking about sustainability. Whereas the two of them are all talking about sustainability, considering the present and the future generation. Then in the EIA, that's why when I was trying to talk, but I preserve my comment based on you haven't come to EIA. So I was like, maybe there will be a mix-up, because EIA that we are talking about cannot exist without the change behavior of people towards a project. And social impact assessment cannot operate without the environment too. They work pari passu. So in the environmental impact assessment that involve a multidisciplinary professional insight, they still involve the socio-economic expertise in the same project in conducting an EIA. As in Nigeria, as we speak now, social impact assessment does not have a standalone preparation like EIA. So at the process of conducting the EIA, the social economics are always involved in it, and they carry their views and combining and issue an environmental impact statement, whereby an agency like NESRA enforces whatsoever thing they are doing in facilities or at the project ground. So it considers both the human aspect, the behavior change of people or the effect of people towards the vulnerable, and even people that have complaints, they still lodge and they still assess in trying to handle their problem so that they won't be harmed. Because the excess of all those corporate social responsibility, at times it comes as a result of all those things that result as a social impact. Because most cases, some things are being done, and maybe in the wrong run due to population growth or due to socio-economic aspects, other people will rise up and say, no, this project was done, I was not involved, or they partially compensate some parts of them within, so they did not benefit. They will raise a complaint and such issue. At times, whenever they come, they try to settle. But because transparency is becoming a problem in Nigeria, when EIA is being done, implementing the right thing, people will deviate. Even the host community themselves, there will be some people or their brothers or relatives that are more powerful than them will take over everything and be benefited. It looks as if such project is not benefiting to the other vulnerable people. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much for your input. We, I think, have arrived at the point where, similar to what you have said, I think the confusion here is that the assumption is that all of them go together.
Yes.
They always go together. But what we are saying is that they should not be going together. You should be able to conduct an EIA separate without carrying SIA like a handbag. What has been done is to focus on EIA and just put SIA by the corner. So you say, okay, you just attach it by the side. Why can't we place the same importance we place on EIA on SIA? Why can't it be done as its own different assessment, different from EIA? Must it be carried along? I think that is where the issue is. So while I agree with you, it is usually
true.
done. It is usually done, and I agree with you. But the
It's
focus
true.
has always been on EIA. SIA is just by the corner. You just mentioned
It's true.
Nesrea. You just mentioned Nesrea.
I agree with
When,
you, sir.
okay. So
I agree
you
with
just
you on
mentioned
that.
Nesrea.
I just want to make a point added to what
Yeah.
you said. I agree with you.
Yeah, and that is why
Yes,
I said I really agree with you.
the issue why most of them are behaving like that is they try to checkmate. You know, once they are involved, they involve other discipline. Some other people, the social peoples, at times they don't know much of their job in order to implement the other aspect of it. So you will
Because the
discover that
proper people are not put in place.
because you will discover that once they put environment there, they will be confused. They just believe that everything is all about environment. Yes, it's all about environment. Environment is all about well-being of the people. Is concerned with the health of the people and what the environment not affecting the host community or the people that are involved. It has a lot of dimension into it, but people who are involved are the one neglecting all those things. And if there is another name that they can even bring it out and say, let them have social and environmental and give it a name that encompasses the two, good. But for now, the social impact has no any acts that establish it in Nigeria yet.
Yeah, thank you. And then we are just hoping that we arrive at a point where we can establish that, because we are concerned about the social life of people. And I think that underlines most of almost everything we have been discussing here. All right. Thank you so much for that input. Is there any other thing that we have not said that we needed to say?
You have said it all, sir.
Okay, if we have said it all, permit me to thank you so much for your time, almost 2 hours listening to me. I do not take it for granted, and I appreciate us all. I will get in touch with Professor Naswem. Hopefully, even if I am with us tomorrow, he will also be with us. I'll try to see if I can join up with the class, and then we'll see how to sort out the assessment for this class. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you all, and I pray you have a nice day. Oh, thank
Same
you.
to you, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Doc.
Thank you very much, Doc. We
Thank you
appreciate
so
you
much.
greatly.
Yeah, I'm grateful to all of you. So let me leave your class now. Maybe like yesterday, you people
Thank
will
you,
want to
Doc.
discuss.
Thank you very much, Doc.
All right,
Thank
maybe
you
you
so
people will want.
much, sir.
No, thank you. Maybe you people want to discuss 1 or 2 things again.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. So, let me exit the class. Allow you
Excuse me,
continue.
Doctor. Hello, sir.
Doctor, don't go.
Moputo.
Sir. Dr. Jigba.
That's
Oh, your class much.
kola hongumo mfashiro kola nye.
Now. All right, sir. So.
Good morning, class.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Just a reminder
Yes,
for all of us to know that tomorrow is of 8:08 as a hard copy to the school, the professor's office. So we beg and plead to each of the students in the particular or any other group that you are, cooperate with your group members for tomorrow's submission and for the final of doing the assignment today, please, because we don't want anybody should be left behind when they have submitted the assessment. Please cooperate with your group members. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Desmond.
Okay, in absence of any announcement, Kumaden, you are the chief host of today. You can end our class. Let's focus on the assessment.
Oh, really? Okay.